Today on the Topping Show, JD Vance puts Zelensky in his place during a White House visit last week. A federal employee says justifying her job is harassment. The iconic Aston Martin Cygnet with a V8 is for sale. The Nissan GT-R order book is officially closed as Nissan ceases production of their iconic vehicle. Fox News says men can be women. And Kia recalls the Soul and Seltos. All of that much more on the Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guys say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free Flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, of course, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the Flamethrower button to learn more, or click the URL in the video description below. Lastly, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part podcast, you have the iconic Aston Martin Cygnet for sale. For those who are not gearheads, you might not have known, but Aston Martin once did a one-off, a small itsy bitty little teeny tiny car with a good old V8. On the condition that they would only make the one for this guy. And it's finally for sale. Now, this comes with thanks to Chris Smith at Motor1.com. And they say, quote, Aston Martin once built a V8 Cygnet, now it's for sale. It's only done 2,900 miles. We dare you to drive more. Which, one of the funny things when it comes to BS government compliances, there's once a time when, pretty much all the time where the governments are bullying automotive companies, but the UK government goes, hey, Aston Martin, you're making too many fun V12 with stick shifts and V8s. You got to make a small little itsy-bitsy car to offset your BS carbon footprint while, China and India produce more than anyone else. But nevertheless, we're going to kneecap you and punish you. And Aston Martin basically did that. This is a bastardized, I believe it's the Toyota Scion, which Toyota owns Scion. And yeah, the one that they sold to the masses was a small itsy-bitty engine. But this is a thing of beauty, to say the least. Now, they say, quote, a few years ago, Aston Martin proved that you can just do about anything if the price is right. We have no idea how much the owner of the world's only V8-powered Aston Martin Cygnet originally paid for their wild creation. Similarly, we don't know how much that owner is selling for now, but it is for sale, and you won't find another one like it anywhere in the world. Which, let's go to that interior of this vehicle. Good old racing steering wheel right there. And they somehow found a way to stick that giant engine right in there. They just say, to refresh your memory, the Cygnet was Aston Martin's short-lived city car, literally a reskinned Toyota IQ. Less than 1,000 were built before Aston Martin pulled the plug in 2013, but at some point after that, someone approached the company's Q by Aston Martin Customization Service and asked for the one with the V8. Why? Who cares? The V8 shoved in something barely large enough for seats. Be glad it exists, which, yeah. They definitely had to widen the stance of that vehicle, too. Nice, good old, yeah, that's a big old exhaust, nice, wide axle. Now they say, quote, of course, V8 swapping a Cygnet is no simple task. Aston Martin started with a bare body and fabricated a roll cage, transmission tunnel, front bulkhead, and all required mounting points to use the front and rear subframes from a late 2000 Vantage. A 4.7-liter V8 also comes from that era Vantage, making 430 horsepower in that itsy-bitsy car, which, you know me, I love my green cars. That's more of the royal British green, a little bit darker, almost like forest green. Not my favorite shade, but I don't know, it still kind of looks iconic. Now they say it makes 430 horsepower and 360 foot-pounds of torque. It goes entirely to the rear wheels through a 7-speed sport shift. Automatic transmission, so close to being a pure icon. And don't get me wrong, it's still iconic, but oh, come on. There's no way I'm getting that without having that third pedal. They say, quote, considering the ultra short wheelbase, we suspect aerostatic power loss is minimal. Aston Martin showcased the car in the 2018 Goodwood Festival of Speed before turning it over to its owner. It's now listed for sale through Nicholas Mee, a dealership in North London that specializes in Aston Martins. The original owner managed to survey approximately 2,900 miles behind the V8 Cygnet's wheel and reportedly still, quote, looks almost like new. It's included in the sale of the car, technical specifications, and the only Cygnet V8 owner's manual in existence, not included a place to store your immense Shazuma, I don't know how to pronounce that, should you attempt to reach the car's quoted speed of 170 miles per hour. Yeah, right. That'd be it, yeah. You'd be a brave man to go 170 miles per hour in that little thing. And again, the thing was, this person paid Aston Martin extra to make it be a one-off. Like they said, hey, this owner has so much money. He's like, yeah, I'll pay for the research, development, the manufacturer, everything. But I'm going to be the only one. I'm going to be the only one with the V8 Vantage Cygnet, which is hilarious and awesome at the same time. Again, this has been a legend for gearheads for years. One of those elusive vehicles that you'd see every once in a while on forums. The fact, I cannot believe they've sent it to a dealership. The fact they didn't put it to an auction, like, I mean, shoot, I know you take the auction fees and that costs something, but shoot, take that to Barrett Jackson, one of the major auctions in the United States. I mean, some guy out there wants it, and they pay through the nose for it. And I wonder, well, shoot, I wonder how much it costs to just make the one-off, because, again, geez Louise, granted, again, there's lots of part sharing, and, you know, it's not like they're making it from the ground up, per se, but research, development, manufacturing for a one-off vehicle is no cheap task in and of itself. I wonder if the owner will actually make a profit selling this. I mean, maybe, but let me know, how much do you think this originally cost? And then do you think the dealership and the owner will actually make a profit when they do sell it? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting business news, you have the Nissan GTR order book officially closed, ending an era as they cease production of their iconic Godzilla vehicle. I'm sure they'll continue to make awesome vehicles like the Altima and the Versa. Obviously joking, the only thing Nissan 400 or the Nissan Z is still fun, but yeah, it's no GTR. Now, this comes with us thanks to Ronan Glone over at thedrive.com. And he says, quote, it's over. Nissan closes the GTR order book in Japan after 18 years. And he continues saying, quote, hybrid, electric, or nothing at all. What's next for the nameplate is still up in the air. Yeah, hopefully just, not electric or hybrid, Jesus. 18 years. And in terms of an ROI, like money-making perspective for Nissan, I can't help but think this is like the most best thing they've done in 10 years. Or no, sorry, 18 years. Because, no offense, Nissan, it's basically the same damn vehicle with slightly different body panels and slightly different curvatures. They may look a little bit different every couple of years. Nothing revolutionary, and all 18 years, you couldn't take the time and give the community the courtesy of coming out with 3 pedals, also known as a manual transmission. Every single year was an anemic, boring, automatic transmission, which, again, people still bought it in droves for a while. But yeah, it's, again, there's still a market out there for 3 pedals. Porsche is probably the best company in terms of proving that and continuing to make it to this day. And, well, perhaps Subaru and then Honda Civic. Believe it or not, Honda is the #1 manufacturer of stick-shift vehicles in the world by volume of units sold. Hashtag Civic SI. But the Nissan GTR, it was so cool. You make so much horsepower. But I was always disappointed by the styling because, again, they really didn't do that many updates. And again, the third pedal or lack thereof. I know I'm a diehard enthusiast. I've talked about that in nauseum on this show. But yeah, it would have been so... I'm not saying double their sales, obviously. But I'm saying, what do you think? I say 10, 20% more sales of the GTR if they were to include that option for folks. I mean, shoot, that was one of those iconic things about the original ones. Now, he says, quote, pour out another for the R35 generation Nissan GTR Godzilla has finally retired after nearly a 20-year-long production run. Nissan posted a heartfelt message on its Japanese website to announce that it has stopped taking orders for the coupe. The GTR's future is a little murky. Now they say, quote, we have received many orders for the Nissan GTR and we now finish accepting orders from the planned production quantity. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our many customers for their patronage over the years since its release in 2007, unquote. Again, that's from a Nissan representative. They say Japan was one of the last markets where enthusiasts could still buy the Nissan GTR. Production for the American market had ended in October 2024, so the nameplate retired after the 2024 model year. Nissan axed the GTR in Europe and in the UK in 2022 due to new, how lame is this, noise-related regulations. People wonder why I hate big government, or many governments at all. The totalitarian evil of the European Union and all those countries over there. Yeah. Is too loud? Grow a pair. Jeez, how weak are those countries? Now, I know Nissan has about $18 left in their checking account, so it's not like they can go out and hire lobbyists or, get the enthusiasts to fight on their behalf. But geez Louise. Noise-related regulations. That's how pathetic Europe has become. A conquered, weak continent and countries, or group of countries in the European Union. Now they say the R35 project was started in 2000 at the request of ex-Nissan CEO Carlos Ghosn, which is actually spelled Ghosn, and to his credit, that guy turned the company around and saved from bankruptcy. The first time. They've had a lot of rough years throughout their history. If you want to learn more about Nissan, the book, and like a little awkward to shift over here. If you want to learn about Nissan, check out Shift, which appropriately is named since they used to make a lot of good stick shift vehicles. It's Shift Inside Nissan's Historic Revival, CEO of Nissan, Carlos Ghosn, and Philip Reese. It also goes throughout a little biography about Carlos and fascinating tales going from tire manufacturers to saving automotive companies. And yeah, Carlos got a lot of critique for cost cutting. Kind of had to on the brink of bankruptcy with cost exceeding way too much. But I mean, he also revived the brand in terms of bringing back the 350Z. I mean, that really got a lot of people's attention. And it turns out, also credited to the GTR. Now, my ADHD notwithstanding, going back to the article, it says, quote, the coupe was previewed by a series of design studies, including a GTR concept unveiled at the 2001 Tokyo Motor Show, and it's made its global debut at the 2007 edition of the event. Sales for the American market started for the 2009 model year. At launch, the GTR touted a bang-for-your-buck proposition that rivals few could match. It carried the base price of, well, back in the day, $78,000, and offered a 3.8-liter twin turbocharged V6 rated at 480 horsepower and 430 foot-pound of torque. And there you can see, the interior is always very disappointing because you have that anemic, boring automatic transmission, rudimentary shift knob, or not really a shift knob, selector. Okay, at least the outside looks pretty cool. Pretty angular. Leave that on the screen there for a New York minute there. Yeah, again, the outside looks pretty good. They said Brembo brake calipers kept the power in check, and the GTR stood out with a cool-looking touchscreen-based infotainment system developed by, who the hell is this? Polyphony Digital, the team behind the Gran Turismo franchise. That's interesting. The R35 received rave reviews from fans and journalists. Fast forward to 2025, the GTR looks much like it did when it broke the cover of the Japanese capital nearly 20 years ago. It changed a lot since then. Yeah, did it? Really? However, it received several visual updates during its production run, and the final iteration of the base model came close to the evolution of 3.6-liter V6 rated at 565 horsepower, 467 foot-pound of torque. That's not enough. The Nismo version posted figures of 600 and 481 respectively. The price has gone up as well. The last base price GTR cost, which this is when it gets comical, and there's no way. This is where I think it lost all value prop. I believe it was so bad they were selling, I believe, one per day, which it was pretty rough production, or rather order rates towards the end of the lifespan. Now, the last base price, again, was $123,985, including destination, while the top ranking Nismo edition was $222,895, which, let's be honest, was only a little bit better for the track. A little bit better suspension, a couple extra pieces of plastic glued on. Don't get me wrong, great 3M adhesive tape, I'm sure, but $250,000 for Nissan GTR after taxes and extortion fees? No, you're not getting that. I mean, those people are starting to look at Porsches. I mean, shoot, high-level Porsche. I mean, Porsche Turbo S is about 213, give or take, or 204, depending on, paint configuration. But yeah, $250,000 for Nissan. No, the Nismo should have been, the base should have been, I think, about 80,000 just pushing it. Then top line make 130, 140. I think they would have sold a lot more units at those price points. They say there are currently 12 new GTRs on sales across the U.S. in Nissan dealer network, but most are base side blue, R34 Tribute, Skyline Trim Edition. They say, what's next? Your guess is as good as ours. What's certain is that there's no next generation GTR waiting behind the scenes to take the torch from the R35. If there's a successor on the way, we'll need at least a little patience to see it. Nissan has previously hinted at the next GTR will features some degree of electrification. Right. It alluded to a hybrid and electric options in 2022, though in 2024, executives said the drivetrain hasn't been finalized and refused to confirm the nameplate of going all electric. Ugh. The hybrid option sounds more credible for the time being. Ugh. And then they have some pictures for some concept vehicles of what it could, potentially look like, which I thought was angular before. Now it's comical to the point where you think it's a 2000 era PlayStation 2 rendering. Not that there's anything wrong with that. At the time, it's quite impressive. But, I mean, it looks like a kid just put this into Adobe or Microsoft Paint and just said, make this more angular. And they did, but not in a good way. And again, I don't know what kind of money. I mean, again, Nissan doesn't have a lot of money to do this. They're begging Honda to buy them out or, join forces. And Honda's like, okay, maybe we'll buy you. And Nissan's like, but we want equal saying. To which I'm sure the Honda CEO just laughed and goes, are you kidding me? You drove your company into the ground. Why would we allow you to have any say at all? I mean, your transmissions are so terrible, people are buying Ford instead because Ford is more reliable by comparison. I mean, the Nissan Altima, it does have BAE energy, which I find entertaining on the Facebook page. But, I mean, that CVT transmission destroyed the brand's reputation for decades. It's one of those things where people just do not trust the credibility of pretty much any Nissan vehicle, which great way to avoid that shitty, terrible transmission and get a more reliable Nissan. Get a Nissan Z with a good old stick shift. And I can't believe it's so sad to say this, it is now the only twin-turbo V6 stick shift on the market in North America they can get with this. Nothing else is left. And again, if the dealers weren't marking them up 10, 20, 30 grand, I think they'd sell a lot more units. Technically, they sold more Nissan Zs than the Supra last year, which I anecdotally definitely don't believe that. Granted, I'm within 50 miles of the Toyota North America headquarters, so a lot of employees get the discounts, and I see tons and tons of Supras on the streets. It's great. And I've seen one Nissan Z in the past 3 years on the streets. I have driven past a dealership where I saw another one, but yeah, that's how rare it is. So it's sad to see an iconic like this go away. Again, I really wish for the enthusiast alone, they should have made it with a stick shift. I know I drive that point home ad nauseum, I know, but for such a cool iconic vehicle, they could have maybe gotten a couple more years of lifespan out of it. And again, it's important to have Halo cards. It shows the best the company can do from engineering and production capability. I'm glad Nissan made this. I just wish they did a little bit more. While I know kind of asking for the best of both worlds might be improbable, and also keep the price point a little bit lower. So it's sad. And hopefully with a booming economy, maybe next couple of years, people buy more toys like these, high-priced vehicles. But let me know, what do you think the next iteration of the GTR might be? And if it goes full electric, I mean, then they're entering a whole new category to compete against. Do you think Nissan has the engineering, research, development, resource allocation, production, all the capabilities to actually succeed in that entirely new market? Let me know your thoughts, because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the Cultural Report podcast, you have Fox News reporting the news saying that men can be women, because, of course, it's Fox News. Now, this comes to us thanks to End Wokeness on the good old X, or I believe maybe 18 people still call it Twitter. Maybe, let me know in the comments, what do you call it these days? In which he's responding to a Fox News tweet, or post, whatever they call it these days. Now, Fox News says, quote, woman arrested after explosives discovered at Tesla dealership. If you're only listening on the Spotify or the Apple podcast or something like that, you're probably not seeing this, which perhaps a silver lining, you're not seeing my face. But if you're watching on Rumble or the YouTube, then you are seeing it. And yeah, spoiler alert, it's a man. A man who identifies as a trans woman or trans man, I forget the terms, but yeah. Maybe I'm jealous, but his jawline is comically strong. Even if you're highly inebriated, you know it's a man. He has long hair, sure, but yeah, a very, very chiseled, strong jawline. And Fox News, of course, is saying, oh yeah, it's a woman. Fox News also left out the fact of, well, this person vandalized it with, graffiti and caused physical damage to the vehicles. It wasn't just explosives were discovered as well. That was, as someone might say, insult to injury, or, additional, well, in this case, hopefully additional charges to be pressed. And Fox is saying, oh yeah, it's a woman. Yeah, ever since the Fox News calls Arizona early, I can't help but think no one I know watches them anymore. I mean, they have fallen off a cliff, and internal memos have shown more and more how much of a leftist company they really are, and they really they're just fake conservatives. A lot of people would argue that they're just controlled opposition, but yeah, I don't know any true conservatives who still watch Fox News. And Lord and behold, true and behold, I can't fathom who do you think is the worst business tape, CNN or Fox News? It seems like both the ratings are crashing like a Boeing airplane. And oddly enough, this only got about 340,000 views and 13,000 likes. Now, one of the first comments comes from Paul Zuzupa saying, quote, Fox News is part of the problem, getting 83 likes. Yep. The Free American Network says, quote, well, she's a guy, so getting 28 likes. Going down more and more. Freedom Isn't Free says, how I imagined evil as a kid. And is a picture of the guy that looks like the cheap power. Again, Lord of the Rings is a great film, even better book. But yeah, the film, the big bad guy looks like a fake, really low quality Power Rangers cartoon. Like, I don't know how they missed that part. King Solomon, not Solomon, whatever the king was with the funny looking mask. It says how I imagine evil's kid, and then it's juxtapositioned with a picture of the trans flag. Says how evil actually it looks now, gaining 26 likes. Scrolling down more and more. Jeez. Freedom Isn't Free also has a vampire picture taking a bite of a man with short pink hair and a rainbow t-shirt. Then the vampires at the hospital says HIV. And it's got the Frankenstein, the werewolf, and the mummy all coming to wish him well. Yeah, 60 likes. Jeremiah Watson says, quote, has Fox News become woke? 39 likes. Always was. Always was. But people are waking up to the fact that, yeah, they are. Suburban Black Man says, quote, what a freak, getting 29 likes. Maria Isabella says, quote, that jawline says it all. Then it's the Austin Powers guy. Says, that's not a woman, that's a man, baby. Getting 36 likes. Barry Vorns says, yep, that's no woman. Getting 10 likes. The Serbian guy says, quote, if that's a woman, I'm a Sasquatch. Getting 10 likes. Let's have, bless me, Christian Reif saying, quote, why isn't the headline man disguised as woman arrested after explosives discovered at Tesla dealership? Getting 15 likes. Well, because that would be an accurate headline, and Fox News doesn't do that. I was about to say anymore. I kind of debate if they ever did, for that matter. Let's see. Mr. Charlie Galvin saying, quote, looking at that picture, he isn't trying very hard, getting 10 likes as well. Sam says, I was thinking hippie, but whatever, it's a dude, getting 10 likes. Larry Hendricks says, I'm shocked, getting 12 likes. Now, the real question is, will this person actually be charged with anything, or does he get a source attorney, or, a leftist attorney just gives him a slap on the wrist, or just, lets him off the hook. But, yeah, I'm not sure. We also have Drum Down Eddie saying, why does Fox News do this, getting 11 likes. Yeah, it's Fox News. Do you know anyone? I mean, it used to be, obviously, they had a huge, nearly monopolistic capability in terms of conservative media. I mean, past, 3, 4, 5 years, I mean, the people I know who used to watch Fox News all watch independent reporters. A lot of them migrated to tune into watching Tucker Carlson. I really don't know anyone who authentically really watches and enjoys Fox News. I check the business section, just like with CNN, just kind of see what's out there and see what their opinion is and see what their perspective is. Don't want to get too bored stuck in echo chamber, but I don't know anyone who tunes in and go I trust 100% what they're saying. I mean, that's my go-to news source. I mean, I don't, but do you? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the political part podcast, you have JD Vance putting Zelensky in his place when he visited the White House last week, which, yeah, how much are we giving that SOB? $180 billion while we have homeless veterans in the streets, while we have people living paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans don't have an emergency fund, yet alone can handle an expense of up to $500. It's scary how rough it is for a lot of Americans. We have streets crumbling, crime increasing, 100,000 Americans killed every year because of fentanyl overdoses. So protect our damn border. And yet, we've given Zelensky $180 billion. I don't know why this annoys me, but he also dresses like a slob. He still wears, gym clothes? He can't suit up. I always say, every man, it's a universal truth. Every man always looks best suited up. For most important occasions in your life, you put on a suit. And he goes to visit the White House. I would argue the most important building on this planet. Although, if Trump were hanging out with me today, he'd probably say something to the effect of, the most important building on the planet, I made it better, restyled it, put a picture of myself, obviously the mugshot from the Democrats tried to go after me, and the deep state tried to frame me. The White House is the best, the greatest, and eventually I will put my name on the wall in gold, eventually, probably, which, Donald Trump, probably. I mean, yeah, the most important building on the planet. And Zelensky shows up to beg more money and to blame other people for his problems. Again, people are struggling just to get by in the United States. And we've given it blows my mind, $180 billion. And yes, I know that's a combination of fiscal, just cash, as well as, military armaments and, humanitarian knickknacks like, physical food and stuff. But yeah, we have, unless we had zero unemployment and everyone's happy and healthy, and yeah, we shouldn't be doing that. But thankfully, JD Vance slaps him down. So you can see, Donald Trump dressed, do they call it dressed to the T's? Obviously, him and JD Vance are suited up as all men should and looking sharp. And Zelensky's wearing a rudimentary, a black sweater? It's not even a tactical turtleneck. It's just a black sweater. How lame is that? And then regular pants.
I'm talking.
Ridiculous. Again, this is not a fashion show, so I will digress.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr.
are not
President,
strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to...
Look at his body language, like a little, how do you say this? Little bitch? Like a spoiled child crossing his arms like, we gave you $180 billion. What have we gotten from it again? Yeah, Trump's going to make some deals. We should at least get some mineral rights or something from that situation.
Try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to...
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
That.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell.
Yeah, there's a reason why people don't attack the United States. People joke and sometimes critique our military budget allocation, but not only does the U.S. tactically have a pretty good place in the world, but we have bar none the best defense contractors on the planet. In addition to the best military, like the largest defense contractors on the planet, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman. I mean, the big boys, Raytheon, which combined with another missile company. They're all headquartered here, baby. There's a reason for that. People critique them. You can talk about their budget overages and overcharges. But the best military hardware and people, they're here. And as wise Japanese general said in World War II, you won't go attack Americans because there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass, unquote.
Tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very
You
strong.
will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the
the
cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
But right now, you don't.
Is this guy too dumb to know what a metaphor is? Even a child would understand what a metaphor is. Well, most children. Even if they went to the United States public schools, even they, which I went to too, even they would understand that metaphor. And yeah, they have no... If the U.S. were to just today say, you know what? If Trump would just say, no more funding, the spigot is off, you get no more funds, Zelensky, you're through, the war will be over tomorrow. Because again, they're propped up by us. We're the number... We've given more than any other country to that country that most people can't point to on a damn map, who's not even, as Trump would say, or he should, I'm surprised he does not make this argument, they're not even our top 10 trading partner. We're not buying stuff from them. They do some Porsche parts. I appreciate that. Porsche makes a great vehicle, but they can source it from somewhere else. Like, Ukraine doesn't do anything for the United States, tactically or fiscally. We do some trade with them, but we're not even in the top 10.
You're playing
Serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What are you
You're
thinking
gambling
about?
with
What are you
World
thinking
War
about?
III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's
with
back
all
to
respect
you.
to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
even
entire
today,
meeting, you said thank
even
you.
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
The definition of a spoiled brat and entitlement is Zelensky. Again, hundreds of billions of dollars. Why? Again, it blows my mind how many people in the United States especially have their hearts set on defending Ukraine, which they can't point you on a freaking map, probably because they went to public school, which, again, so did I. But thanks to the internet and some research, I cannot point to it on a map. I can see that. Yeah, who cares? Well, why? And I know I keep driving a couple of the same redundant points today in nauseum, but really, why are people barely making a living in the United States having to pay for Zelensky? One of the most corrupt countries on the planet. I mean, even CNN, before the whole Russia and Ukraine conflict started, they all agreed, like, oh yeah, this is one of the most corrupt countries ever. Funds go missing left and right. We're also saying the money with no accountability, no oversight. Who knows where the money's actually going? And Ukraine has ramped up the production so much, they're actually selling armaments to other countries too, making a profit too. It's ridiculous. And this did get 9.1 million views and 124,000 likes. Which, yeah, again, fairly minor. Thanks to the ineptitudes and or corruption of Democrats and Republicans, the United States is $36 trillion in debt. We don't have money to, first of all, you can debate there's any upside or any benefit to us giving all this money away to Ukraine. We also can't afford it. Like, I would be arguing of stopping a majority of, especially if there's no upside to working with them, stop all that foreign trade today. When we have strategic allies where it makes sense, where we do business with them, maybe there's a strategic part in the globe for us, maybe that I can understand that. I can understand that argument, even if maybe every single time I don't agree with it, but I can understand that argument. No one's been able to give an articulate reason of why we should keep funding this war. Why? NATO keeps expanding and closer to Russia. Doesn't seem like doesn't seem like that's a great idea. Ukraine seems to be the last buffer. And eventually I think Russia was going to bite back, and they got more nukes than pretty much any other country. And I mean, Putin's getting pretty old. I'm hopefully he doesn't just click that button when he gets pissed and nukes everything. I mean, for decades we've had the concept of mutually assured destruction, with most major countries having capability of nuclear war, so they don't use it because they know if they do, the other countries will nuke them off the face of the earth. It's the age-old theory of mutually assured destruction that's, interestingly enough, kept a lot of world peace, or at least lesser, more intense conflicts from happening. I mean, as a wise man would say, maybe don't poke the bear. I'm a little biased. I would love to have a nice Mosin Nagant, a crate of them before I die without having to pay like 10 grand for that thing. It used to be $300 or less back in the day. Same with SKSs. Same with Russian ammo. I miss the days of getting that cheap spam can. But nevertheless, it'd be nice to actually maybe have more global trade with them. Maybe have more upside to that. But let me know in the comments, why keep propping up Ukraine? Why keep fueling the war? Now, one of the first comments comes from Libercat Media TM saying, quote, one word, body, getting 28 likes. Liberty Pill Memes, A+, they did in fact respond in meme form, says, why does Zelensky do this? They have a cartoon of Trump saying, Zelensky, it's time for Ukrainians to stop dying. And the little cartoon of Zelensky says, no, not yet, getting 2.6 thousand likes, which community notes would probably say inaccurate because he's actually wearing something that would be a modicum of respect for the room. He's wearing what looks like to be a military uniform when, again, he's just wearing a sweater. Again, I could perhaps respect a tactical turtleneck if you're in conflict or in a war zone. But, like, meeting the most important people on the planet, you don't suit up for that. He has the money. We've given him $180 billion. It's not a fiscal issue. He's got the cash. He just wants to keep parading around. Yeah, Truth Discourse saying he just took out the trash, and Trump saying, I picture Trump putting Zelensky in the trash, getting 150 likes. Yep. And I would say it's an accurate picture because Zelensky's wearing a sweater in that one. Bold Anger has Trump spewing fire at Zelensky, getting 10 likes. Perhaps the most accurate picture of all, you have a picture of Zelensky. Wow, he actually wore a button-up for once in his life, meeting with Biden, and it says money laundering. And it's juxtapositioned with a picture of Donald Trump and Zelensky. It says negotiating peace, getting 441 likes. Again, never forget the United States via Boris Johnson and the UK government. I mean, when the conflict first broke out, Zelensky, there was talks of, coming up with a treaty pretty quick. And yeah, the United States said, no, we're not going to let that happen. We got to let this conflict start. have the world spend hundreds of billions of dollars. And so many people died. I got 441 likes. Yeah, Penelope saying, quote, poor souls can't watch this sort of thing. They cringe, shy away from all forms of confrontation. Confrontation and hard conversations are critical for progress. Watching Zelensky get handled his ass was quite frankly the highlight of my morning. I voted for this, getting 27 likes. Though, oh, I was about to say let's make it 28, just shot up to 41 like Nvidia stock in 2024. Not so great in 2025. Ugh, not financial advice. Yeah, Medicine Man saying, quote, you feel it was essentially a backhanded threat if you don't comply with his demands. Trump absolutely smelled it out and wrecked his shit for it. Beautiful, getting 3.7 thousand likes. Yep. CF says, God, I love this administration. Zelensky is a piece of shit, getting 1.8 thousand likes. Keith Ainsworth says, I don't think he wants to mess with JD Vance, getting 233 likes, which, yep, every day I can't but think Trump is more and more affirmed in his confirmation of choosing JD Vance as his VP and right-hand man. And Crazy Vibes saying, quote, that this disrespectful outfit and attitude after we gave him hundreds of billions of dollars, this is what the world thinks of Americans thanks to the weakness and puppet Biden administration. Make this clown walk back to his hotel and shut down war funds. The war needs to end. Okay, 809 likes. Yes. Again, well, not for the defense contractors, but on average, less war and more global trade, usually beneficial for most folks. Again, not the missile assembler at the Raytheon factory, but most average folks. One of the best memes thus far. Unwoke Media Inc. has a picture of Zelensky on a phone and it says, is the money coming? And then Trump's on the line and he says, go F yourself. Getting 471 likes. Yeah. Again, imagine $180 billion. It's just so much money. That number keeps, it's so much money. Such a waste. Let's see, you got Bill, maybe a contrarian statement. You have Eli Copter, who has pictures of the Ukrainian flag as well as the Israeli flag in his name, where you can add emojis. Now he says, quote, not a good look for the U.S. to be sure. Zelensky is the Churchill of our time, and this will go down as a historic mistake. Getting 1.9 thousand likes, which the Churchill, no, Zelensky is a dumbass of our time. Because of him, he's lost hundreds of thousands of citizens. They're dying left and right because of his vast ineptitudes. I mean, he might be the most successful, fiscally speaking. He could be the most successful grifter of all time, going around the globe begging for more bags of money as his country becomes more and more enriched. But yeah, again, they could have had peace a long time ago. But no, Zelensky, no. I suspect the peace will come once Trump says, hey, no more funding, and maybe Trump does just a Zoom call. Not to plug Zoom, great software company, but nevertheless. I mean, was Trump just a Zoom call? He goes, okay, Vlad, okay, Zelensky, we're getting a phone call. Putin, you're going to get the Crimea, that shitty little port, something like that. Ukraine will give you your Porsche wire harness assembly plant back and a couple trinkets. Make the deal now because no more money for you. And again, without the major backer of Ukraine, because again, we give them more money than any other country, they would accept a peace treaty pretty quick. Now, you also have Sarah Snowmer says, this is not a good look. Oh, really? Okay, another contrarian statement. This is not a good look for the Trump's side. If Ukraine accepts reunification with Russia, all previous work and money spent on the war will be for nothing. Getting 96 likes, which, again, I'm not sure how many proposals there are for reunification. I think they're just saying go back to the previous lines of engagement. And again, I think Putin is going to push hard to get that port to the sea because they need that for tactical and trade purposes. In terms of negotiation, I think that's going to be the one thing. Putin will give up other areas of Ukraine. I suspect that, but I'm guessing that would be like his non-negotiation thing. But again, I suspect we also spent $180 billion for nothing because, again, at the end of the day, no matter who has the port, where that line moves on the map, how does this help you? How does this help me? I'm still waiting for someone to give me a real answer to that. Oh no, Russia might get a little bit bigger. Okay. And they're going to invade Iowa anytime soon? Or Texas? I'm waiting for a solid answer. Now, let's dive into the comments for her. Someone responded to, again, Sarah Snowmer saying, quote, you obviously don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That time would to be nice is over. This man has used the country to profit from war. Getting 47, second 48 likes. Almost got ratioed. PC Not PC says, quote, I was taught when you have absolutely no effing IQ or intelligent thoughts to add to a conversation, you just stay quiet. But alas, the idea was wasted upon you, because opening your mouth and letting your stupid shine is an art form of you. Getting 7 likes. Anib says, the money stolen from the American taxpayers to pay for Ukraine war. Getting 9 likes. Though I made it 10. Stop Socialist Tyranny, who A+ for profile picture is in fact of a Lego figure. Pretty cool. Says, quote, Trump and JD Vance showing strength in the world stage. No more bowing down to foreign leaders. America First policy is a breath of fresh air after years of weak leadership. Time to put America's interests ahead of everyone else's. Great move by Trump and Vance, getting 3.8 thousand likes. Elijah says Zelensky forgot who he's dealing with, getting 226 likes, which, I mean, yeah, for years, Zelensky basically had a puppet to push to the ground. A weak, I'm going to say, basically someone who has 18 brain cells left was in the White House, and Zelensky basically got whatever he wanted. Again, hundreds of billions of dollars. Let's see here. Unsolicited advisor says, as much as I dislike the war and Zelensky, I don't believe Trump and JD Vance should gang up on him like that. A contrarian statement gained 1.2 thousand likes, interestingly enough. But again, when Zelensky is going around the world trash talking the U.S., yeah, I think it's appropriate to slap him down like that. Ungrateful little child that he is. Again, you can see how by his whole body language, just arms crossed, not receptive. You can see by, again, one of the best books I read the past couple of years. It's literally called What Every Body Is Saying. It's by a former FBI negotiator. It kind of talks about the psychology of body language. It's quite fascinating. And the ADHD I know today is off the charts. That's kind of what we're talking about today with Zelensky. That's one of the books on my, moderately, I was going to say large bookshelf. It's getting there. The collection is growing. I'll do 1 or 2 statements here, or comments. Ryan says JD Vance is straight talker. No bull crap at all. Getting 2.3 thousand likes. Trying to find more contrarian statements, and thankfully today we're finding some. Clementine, though F- marketing, perhaps the only time I thought it'd be appropriate to have a meme or a little emoji in your name of an orange. And the profile picture is not in fact of an orange or the state of Florida. I'm baffled. It's alleged Clementine says, quote, it's the art of the deal. Trump is the master. Sign the deal at Mar-a-Lago? Question mark. Putin will be getting the treatment too. It will not be made public like this, but Trump will put Putin in his place. Relax everyone. Bottom line, minerals for the U.S. and peace for the world. Win-win, which... you know what? And it has a hippie sign, the American flag, and then the Ukrainian flag, which, yeah, I actually do agree with that. I won't like it, though, on the X. Because, again, if we need to get something out of this money pit we just put all that money into, God. So, yeah, mineral rights for 100 years or something like that, there's got to be a silver lining. Like, Trump, probably the first president in our freaking lifetime, actually makes deals for the American people. If you get some mineral rights, you can actually get some money out of that. Maybe someday before we die, we'll get like an ROI out of this. Maybe. Again, that's going to be a heck of a lot of minerals. 100. When you look at investments, again, not financial advice, but good rule of thumb I tell people is it should at least meet or exceed the growth of the S&P 500. Because if you just put money into an index fund, that's usually what you would get. Usually, that's historically speaking, not guaranteed future results. So I would say we need to get at least 15, 16, maybe 20% ROI in minerals from that country. I mean, at least get something out of that boondoggle. So we'll see what happens at the end of the day. I was going to say, let me know in the comments, who do you think is doing a better job handling the whole Russia-Ukraine situation? Trump or was it Biden? Which, again, if you have contrarian arguments, I'm especially interested, and I apologize if it takes me a day or two to get to the comments. Sometimes work gets a little bit busy, but I always strive to respond to all of them, even if I don't necessarily agree with them. Appreciate any critique, especially if it's constructive. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting political news, you have a federal employee saying that justifying your job is a form of harassment. This is reason number 9. Well, I was going to say reason number 9,758,435,006 to fire a major majority of federal employees. Between corruption and laziness and ineptitudes, there's a lot of reasons. And again, not all of them are like that. Just thinking statistically, 98%. No, sorry. 99.6987%. Not a real poll. Now, this comes with thanks to Benny Johnson. Benny says, quote, federal worker says she got behind on all her work because she was threatened and harassed by the simple email asking for 5 tasks she completed in a week, which if you can't name 5 tasks you completed in a work week, again, caveat is you're not on sick leave or you're in the hospital, you're on the clock. If you can't name 5 things, you should be fired immediately. I mean, that is unfathomably pathetic if you can't name 5 things, 5 activities. You shouldn't get paid more than a cent. You should be fired. Trump would say, should be fired. Can't name 5 things. These people are so inept, so lazy. To sit around drinking the coffee or the champagne. Fire these fat cats. Can't name 5 things they did. Pathetic. Yeah, you can't, that doesn't fly in the private sector, which people think I'm joking. I know. When I say 105 hours a week can't be beat, that's about how many hours I put into the businesses. Which some might argue are going to burn out one of these days, but it's been 7 years. I'm just fine. A couple more gray hairs, but I'm just fine. Now, let's go here. And maybe she'll give a very coherent argument that says why she thinks it's unreasonable. Obviously not, but let's hear what she has to say. Now, fascinatingly enough, an outlier, she does not have short pink or blue hair. That is unusual. Interesting. And there we go. It's credited to also MSNBC recording this.
The email that came out wanting us to justify our jobs with 5 things we did last week was on Saturday night. Yeah. And I was literally working on Saturday night to make up for all the distractions I had had the previous week, which came from the executive branch. And so I'm working, trying to catch up on things, and then I get that email on top of it. It's very hard to keep your train of thought when you're getting threatened and harassed like that.
Perhaps if she's that mentally weak, if she's actually being honest, which I don't think she is, if you're that mentally weak, you're not fit for most jobs. You probably need to go to like a fitness camp, mentally and physically, make a fat camp or something. It also incorporates some mental acumen or development to get your shit together. And she, again, not to talk smack about her age, but she's more elderly. She should have learned life lessons by now. Though as a long-time government employee, probably not. This is probably the first time in decades she's actually been told to like work for a living or justify what the hell she does. I love the Doge. I mean, this is literally office space where they take people in the room and go, what is it you say you do around here? She says she was working on a Saturday, so you know she got the email. She got the email. You can't name it. 5 things. 5 things. Even the most rudimentary job on the planet, you can name 5 things he did. I'm not even necessarily saying, they're not even saying these need to be magnanimous, huge milestones of success or achievements, just 5 activities, and they can't do it. That's how lazy, corrupt, or inept these government employees are. Fire them, all of them. We're not cutting, people are saying we make double, triple the amount of cuts that we're doing right now. Now, this should have got a lot more viral, should have gone to the moon, as I might say, but it only got about 700,000 views and 18,000 likes. One of the first comments coming from Chuck Costello saying, quote, next week she should be harassed by an email with 10 tasks they completed over the following weeks, getting 41 likes rather, which, yeah. Let me know in the comments, how many tasks did you complete last week at work? Can you name, I'm guessing, tuning into the show, I'm a little biased, I think you're, well, I would say, not infinitely, but a lot better than average in terms of, hard work and mental fitness and all, and, actually doing a good job in life. I would guess you'd easily rattle off 20 off the top of your head. I mean, it's not like, I could understand maybe a little bit of intimidation if just out of nowhere, Elon comes up in front of you and asks. Lord knows, I had trouble speaking in general. I might stutter a little bit more than usual, which is saying something. A lot of people argue that I speak faster than Ben Shapiro and stutter over my words as awkwardly as Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. However, as I slowly but surely gain more subscribers, I become better at speaking. So I have that theory. The more people that click that subscribe button, the more I will be able to speak articulately and someday make it through an entire episode speaking perfectly, articulation, and it'll be a great episode. High in the sky goal, some might say, but if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. And turn on the notifications because the YouTube turns it off, as one of my friends reminded me last week, or rather over the weekend. And yeah, it turns out, he was still subscribed, but they turned off the notifications for him. Good old YouTube. That's sarcasm. We'll do 1 or 2 more comments here. You also have someone by the name of I Don't Care Bear. I'm not sure if I believe that because it sounds like they care because they made a comment. Nevertheless, this alleged I Don't Care Bear says, quote, I was severely threatened and harassed last month by my private employer. Oh, wait, that was my annual review, getting 426 likes. Yep. A lot of people call them QBRs or quarterly business reviews. Used to have them when I used to work at corporate America. Now I usually do a weekly assessments in terms of, activities that are most successful versus what could be better and, improvements. But nevertheless, he also says, quote, oh, honey, you never lasted a day in the private sector. Zero sympathy. Yeah, I got 1.2 thousand likes. I agree. Scrolling down more and more, Savannah says, quote, this woman needs to be fired if she's incapable of doing her job because she was asked to create a single email to provide 5 tasks she completed during that week. She's not competent enough to remain employed. The 879 likes, or 70 likes now. It's 869. Maybe she go to Ukraine and fight. Zelensky will take her. Florida 1 says DC Swamp must be hiring Walmart rechecks if they put together an email serious. If they can't put together an email seriously, they're making over $100,000 a year, getting 355 likes, which I would say that's an insult to Walmart workers. A lot of them are pretty hardworking folks, especially when you got to do those pain in the ass cart returns, especially when there's the lowest levels of society. People don't return their carts. They got to go out in the middle of the parking lot and pull it back. Those people should not be allowed to shop at the store again. But no, I actually respect some Walmart workers. In terms of government employees, I respect that list is much, much shorter. It could fit on perhaps a cocktail napkin. It's that small. Yeah, half the comments are just saying, try working in the private sector. But yeah, a lot of people roasting her, and someone has a picture of Elon wearing a suit of armor, says, give me 5 things you did last week now. Getting 17 likes, which, yeah, if you can't name 5, that's perhaps one of the most pathetic things I've heard in the public sector, which is saying something because I already have so little respect in general for that area. But let me know, how quickly can you name 5 things that you did for your employer or you accomplished during the work week? And do you think that's unreasonable to have an employee do? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Kia recalling the Soul and Seltos with issues with their engines. Whoops. Now this comes to us thanks to Jack Fitzgerald over at Car and Driver, when she says, quote, Kia recalls 2021 to 2023 Seltos Soul models with piston ring issue. The recall affects 137,256 Kia vehicles that may have defective piston rings, which could cause enough damage to lead the automaker to replace the entire engine. Ouch, that's a pretty big mistake, and this won't be the first time they've had to do some engine swaps throughout the years. Scrolling down so you can see one of those Kia SUVs. Yeah, I'm not a fan, but that's just me. Now, they say, quote, Kia's recalling approximately 137,256 Seltos and Soul models from 2021 to 2023. The recall population is split between 2 models, 53,635 Seltos and 83,621 Souls. Recall documents filed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration show that the issue is potentially defective oil ring in both models. The recall affects the non-turbocharged 2-liter engine, and the optional turbocharged 1.6-liter is not affected in the recall, though. So, is it upside down in turbo? According to the recall report, a quality deviation by the piston ring supplier may cause damage to the surface of the cylinder wall over time. In turn, the damaged cylinder could increase oil consumption, causing increased damage, engine seizure, and in limited cases, fire in the engine bay, which, not great. Pull up that iconic toaster-looking car, a cube-looking car. There's a Soul right there, which, in terms of historical provenance and automotive history, I think is only known for being a hamster mobile with those funny commercials, which, pretty effective. They stuck with us. That commercial stuck through a long time, and they sold a lot of cars. Recall documents list increased oil consumption, abnormal engine noise, and illumination of the oil pressure light on the dash warnings of the issue. Kia will notify all owners with impacted vehicles with instructions to bring their cars to a Kia dealership to be fixed. The recall documents show that Kia will inspect each engine, replacing those with the damaged cylinder walls. The dealers will also install piston ring. Now, this is kind of interesting in terms of tech. They're going to install piston ring noise sensing software as a preventive measure, which I usually belabor how much I hate technology in vehicles, even though ironically I work in technology. At least because with every bell and whistle you add to the car, it's more things that can break, and there's a reason there's more recalls now than ever before in the auto industry. But the fact that they can actually update the software to listen to that and catch it before it becomes a big issue, the nerd in me likes that. That's a pretty cool thing to do. Now, they say the automaker will also reimburse owners for the repair expenses related to the recall if they have already occurred. Kia dealerships will already been notified of the recall, with the automaker making plans to begin owner notifications April 4th. Or just tune in to the Topping Show, where we usually catch the recalls a month or two before they send out the physical pieces of paper in the mail. They say any owners worried about their car involved can check the NHTSA website beforehand with their vehicle's VIN number. Which, again, Kia, for decades they were compared to bobsleds in terms of reliability or lack thereof. But ever since the Germans fixed Kia and Hyundai, same company, well, I say Germans, German executive leadership left Volkswagen over to go to Kia Hyundai, they've come leaps and bounds in terms of reliability and still have the best warranty, which again is unprecedented for the industry. It's like 10 years, 100,000 miles, again, on the powertrain, which again is also the most important part of the vehicle. They still have the best warranty, bar none. But again, this is the issue when you have subcontractors and suppliers. And again, it's the most complex thing we'll ever buy in our life for most of us. The vehicle has between 10,000 and 30,000 components. Many of them come from subcontractors, and a lot of them are not made in-house. I mean, traditionally, the manufacturer will make the engine, transmission, the body panels, the frame, but a lot of the knickknacks, a lot of the smaller pieces, the subcomponents, they come from third parties where they have less control on the quality. And ideally, when they get the products and, they get the oil rings and the pieces like this, they should be putting them for rigorous quality assurance to make sure not only they're durable, but consistently tested to make sure they're all within spec, which fortunately, apparently for this situation, they did not. So Kia, gotta say, the recall of two of your most iconic vehicles, gotta say, is certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.